perhaps one of Clackamas County's best kept secrets, from Lake Oswego south towards Silverton, are the boutique vineyards.
We grow Pinot Noir as well as Syrah, and our neighboring vineyard we grow some Merlot. We also grow several white wines, and white wines also do very well here in the Willamette Valley. And we do a Chardonnay, Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, and Riesling. Pinot Noir is certainly the most famous grape in Oregon, and arguably the most famous grape in the world. It's what the French would call a Burgundy, and it's a very fickle grape that only grows in cool climate areas such as northern France or the Willamette Valley, and it has very thin skins, so it can't take a lot of heat. And so it's primely suited to the volcanic soils here in the Willamette Valley and the nice warm summers and cool nights. We are at the end of our harvest of Pinot Noir, and hand picking is the choice here.
This is the harvest season for Christopher Bridge and Satori Springs Winery and St. Joseph's Winery.
If we had a weather forecast that would say we're going to be looking at 10 more days of sunshine after this next front that's supposed to come in this weekend, we would probably go ahead and just let the fruit stay on. But because rain will in fact come through the skins of the Pinot grapes are very thin, and it will absorb that moisture, the fruit will, and it will dilute the sweetness of that juice, and hence we will have less sweet juice when we come into the winery with that fruit. So we're trying to avoid any rain very late toward harvest. We've also had an incredible bird damage in the vineyard. We've had so much fruit picked and eaten by the birds that we're just feeling that if we don't pick it now, we won't have much left to really bother picking.
And we've have a new 5-acre vineyard that's up the road from us that we're harvesting our first crop this year. And over this past winter, we put in another 22 acres in Clackamas County. That's on a beautiful southwestern slope, and southwestern gets the most sun in Oregon, so that's prime real estate for a vineyard. From here south of us, as well as north of us, there are some of the biggest vineyards in Oregon, and we, as well as several of the other vineyards, all sell fruit to McMinnville and Dundee, and we're very proud of that.
In living on this farm, we're really attuned for 365 days out of the whole year to what's going on here and what the equilibrium should be. And we try to take great care of the environment, not just really our vineyard, really the health of the entire ecosphere that we have here. Because a well taken care of vineyard with great wines coming from it, I think gives those living on that land a sense of satisfaction. It's a visual source of joy, as well as, of course, a source of joy when it comes to drinking the wines and sharing them. And I think that's been the best part of doing what we're doing now.
We just tasted our barrels on Tuesday for our reserve wines. We actually tasted about 40 different barrels, of which we came up with 8 barrels that are being made for our Katara Reserve label. And those barrels, most of them are French oak. Oak is used because it has really tight-grained wood. It imparts some nice flavors to it and doesn't overpower it. And best of all, it doesn't leak. And so we use oak barrels. They range in price between $500 and $2,500 a piece. You can reuse them for, sometimes you use them once, sometimes you do them 2 or 3 years. But it helps with the flavor of red wines particularly, and sometimes on Chardonnay.
I grew up between Stuttgart and Munich. Actually spent my first 20 years in Bavaria. Had a chance to go to Burgundy, but little did I know then that I would someday be involved in the wine industry myself. You know, in amazing ways, we find that life takes us to places we had never fathomed we would go.
Joseph is the head winemaker. This is now the third generation. Joseph grew up in Hungary, where his grandfather had a winery in Hungary. Just after World War II, the communists took over the land and all the capitalists were thrown out, so he grew up in southern Germany. His son Kirk trained in winemaking and viticulture on the Rhine and the Mosel valleys. My wife Tara helped plant the vineyards here in '78. So it's actually one of the first 25 wineries in Oregon and one of the first 50 in the whole Northwest.
The amount of patience that it takes to grow a vineyard and then wait for that first bottle from that first harvest, of course, can go anywhere between 48 months to 60 months easily. And that, of course, is a pretty long amount of time to be waiting for that sign, that first sign that something is taking fruit and holding promise. This is the very reason that we're doing what we're doing when we're taking our time to do something well, that we allow it the time that it takes. And as much as it is very much a test on our patience, the reward is just so incredibly huge when you're finally tasting that fruit and hearing others say, this is good.